Jim said, this wonderful weekend is coming to an end. And, well, I think it has been an enriching experience. And I have learned a lot. I've learned a little bit about your region and your countries. There are a few things I have seen. Yes. That, things that I imagined. For example, I have seen that you are full of joy and music and dance. You are full of rhythm and talent, capacity. You are full of love and respect and steadfast, friendship, humility, dedication, consequence, determination. These I have seen. And I have heard before that your area was receptive to the faith of Baha'u'llah. But I didn't know it was so and this I learned just from your stories. So I imagine if I go with you, do some visits, knock some doors, walk in some of the streets, as you're saying, you just walk, smile. And people talk to you. People are going to ask you, where are you from? Why are you here? Who are you? And you just talk. People get interested. I am very impressed by the receptivity of your region. And I don't know if this has been a discovery for you or not. I don't know. Maybe it has, for some of you. Maybe you knew it was receptive, but had to give yourselves a chance. Just to go and prove it. So it seems to me that there are no limits for you. That's my impression. There are no limits. So it's like you have this huge ocean in front of you. There are no limits. So you can just go as further as you want. So it seems that the limitation you have is the number of you. The number of is the number of tutors, the number of animators, and children's class teachers, hosts of devotional meetings, teachers of the cause. So it's just that. I was very happy to hear, to learn about your experiences with teaching teams. And I didn't know you had permanent teaching teams. I was not expecting it. Because I've seen that in very advanced classes, that they're moving in that direction, having some permanent people. And I don't know if in all the groups you discussed this, but I wanted just to mention it again. So these permanent teaching teams, it's just a group of friends, 3, 4 friends, 5 friends, who have decided to concentrate their efforts in one of these neighborhoods or villages that is receptive. So it's the same group always, it's the same team, and they go always to the same place. Sometimes they live there. I even heard that some of you live in that neighborhood. I heard even that some of you are thinking of moving in the neighborhood, to big team members, because you want to be very close to what's happening. And so it seems that once the team is there in the neighborhood, well, different things happen. I heard stories of people who decided to begin with a children's class, for example. So that was like step number 1. The children's class was established. Then you met the parents, siblings, and somehow you were able to go from not knowing or knowing very few people to maybe expanding the number of your friends to perhaps 15 to 20 people, just by one of these core activities. But it seems that in some cases also there was direct teaching present. You had teaching teams. Teaching efforts. You were using Anna's presentation, you had learning books, and you also went from home to home to present the faith. And in that way, you were able to increase the number of your friends. So, even I remember one of the groups had some statistics, one of these teams was here, and the person showed to me the chart, and they had almost 60 people. 60 people they know in that neighborhood. 60 names. So we were talking about how many each of you, imagine you're a member of this team, how many each of you could get to know? How many friends could you have? So we were talking, and then some people said 20, but some people said no, I think we can go even up to 30 or 40 people. I could know 40 people by name, where do they live, what do they do, what is the level of their interest in the faith. So some people's interest, we discussed this in the group. Some people's interest in the faith will be minimal. And there are going to be cases where the interest of the individuals is very high, and they become very passionate about the faith. They join the faith, they become believers, and they're very passionate. They are willing to give their lives. So you have a spectrum of responses, it seems. It goes from absolute indifference to tremendous passion. But imagine that these teams could get in touch, these 4 people, each of them working with 30 people. So it means that you could go up to 100, 120 individuals who get to know my neighbor. I think that was very interesting to hear. Some people were saying that once they began to work in these teams, there was some mistrust in the community. But very quickly, they won the trust of the neighbors. And then they were saying, for example, that they were walking in the street and people were waving, "Hello, how are you?" and even calling you by your names. And then people you were talking with were watching this situation and were saying, "Wow, people know you here." And somehow this gave some comfort to the residents. So you became known and respected in the community. Which I think some of you were mentioning that this accelerated here the work, which is very interesting. So if you could see that there is a stage at the beginning where you are not known and this is the first time you're there, you begin something, but it seems that later you have core activities, you talk to faith, now you have many friends, now you are known, now you're respected, and so it seems like the faith is established in that area. And then something wonderful happened, and I was very, very, very happy to hear this. This is wonderful that you're learning this, because this is the written message. I guess this, when you read this message, it was a great confirmation. And it is that very soon you were able to identify people of capacity whose passion for the faith was enough to allow them to arise and serve the faith with you. And you were open, your teams were open, you were, membership is open, and you accepted the residents now to join the team and became team members. I was very impressed to hear that teams even are meeting once a week. I was very impressed by that. That every time they get together, and I asked, what is the agenda of these meetings? And when we talked about it, I was very impressed. The meeting of the team began with prayers, and then reading the guidance, the House of Justice, then sharing of stories of what happened, just a report of the last week, and then even a plan of action. I was really impressed by this. I can see how this mode of functioning, the learning mode, is present now in the neighborhood, in these teams. And the residents of the neighborhood are joining So the residents are not only learning about Ruhi core activities, but they're also learning about learning. They're learning about learning. Learning about how to learn. And I think that is one. So when we were talking to the groups, gave me the impression that other people got interested. Some of you do not have these themes yet, but people got interested and they were making questions, and it seems that this could be an interesting thing to try. And I'm taking this back to high school as a learning. I'm taking this to share with the teaching center and discuss it there. I mean, maybe this will work in other parts of the world. I'm thinking that this would be a very good thing to share the counselors in South America and Central America, North America. And so what you're generating here can be shared with the world. So, how does that feel? Good.